This story comes to us from businessinsider.com. Before I get to the story, there's another story. 2 years ago, I did an editorial on Manuel Ellis, who died at the hands of police in Washington State. And this last September, 3 of the police officers were charged in that death. This week, they're starting closing arguments in that trial. That was quick, 2-3 months. So what I'm going to do is, once the verdict is read, or once they give the verdict, I'm going to give you that story of what the actual verdict is, along with, a couple other stories from that, including the original editorial I did 2 years ago. So to sum it up, this guy dies at the hands of police 2 years ago. Just this September, they start a trial charging the 3 of the police officers, and now they're doing closing arguments. When the verdict comes out, I will give you that story. All right, so that you know the final outcome of that. For now, we're going over to Colorado, though, where a man in Colorado is set to receive $400,000 settlement with city authorities after being arrested for a DUI despite passing his breath and blood test. How about that? Harris Elias, a general contractor and a pilot, is to be awarded $400,000 from the city of, guess where? Loveland, Colorado. Good old Loveland Police Department. That's right. We aim to swerve your constitutional rights. You know how they say we aim to serve? We aim to swerve your constitutional rights. I don't know. I made that up. They didn't really say that, but that's how they act, right? So the city of Loveland is awarding this guy $400,000 to resolve a federal lawsuit he filed against the city and its police officers in 2022, according to his lawyer. Now, Elias's complaint, seen by Business Insider, alleged that he was arrested on January 4th of 2020 while driving home after a dinner party. Loveland police officer William Gates pulled Elias over for failing to signal while changing lanes, then told Elias he smelled the overwhelming odor of alcohol coming from Elias's vehicle, the lawsuit says. Now, either he was lying, or it could have been anything. Maybe a beer got knocked over in his car, it was in the carpet, or whatever, from early, from some time other ago. But we're going to get to, it wasn't coming from his breath. We're going to get to that in a second. So Elias refused to take a roadside test. Good for you. He didn't want to do the calisthenics. That's one leg. And he said he would not answer Gates' questions. I don't answer questions. This guy's a First Amendment auditor, isn't he? He was then brought to the local police station on a suspected DUI. No drugs or alcohol were found in Elias's car, per the lawsuit. Elias took a breath test at the station and produced a 0% BAC. Gates told Elias, per the body cam footage posted by his attorney, "I'm not going to play this game." What game? That I blew 0? All right, I'm not playing this game, dude. Let your lungs exhale, okay? What game? Well, that's what Elias says. He says, I'm not playing a game. This is my freedom you're talking about. Police then told Elias to take a blood test, which also came back negative in March of 2020 for all tested substances. Negative, 0, nothing. Meanwhile, Elias had his pilot's license investigated by the Federal Aviation Administration because of the DUI arrest. Elias's attorney, Sarah Schielke, in March of 2022, released a YouTube video alleging that Loveland Police Department officers would compete with one another, as well as other departments, for who could make the most DUI arrests. Uh-oh, are we talking headhunting here? She cited social media posts from a Facebook page, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, which promoted a timed competition for the most DUI arrests between departments. Schielke also published screenshots of a 2021 independent assessment of the Loveland Police Department by a private consultancy firm Jensen Hughes, which said officers would ignore other calls to pursue DUI arrests. According to Schielke, she said in her Monday statement, policing is not a game. DUI enforcement should never be a competition. There are innocent people's lives and jobs at stake. They don't care. Cops don't care, man. The only thing a cop cares about is getting that statistic. I got 15 arrests this week, man. How many were, lawful arrests? Who cares? I got 15 arrests. Gates and the Loveland police chief at the time, Robert Tyser, are no longer serving in the department. Remember Robert Tyser? He just gave it up. He was like, I'm done. Now, notably, Ellis alleges to have later been subjected to another wrongful DUI arrest in Fort Collins, a municipality neighboring Loveland. Remember, they're competing. A separate lawsuit he filed against Fort Collins officers in May said that he was arrested in December 2nd, 2021, jailed for 3 days, again on suspected DUI. He also completed a breath and blood test, both of which came back negative, says the lawsuit. But in the meantime, Elias had a child abuse report filed against him by an officer because his 15-year-old son was in his car and was prohibited by a judge from driving anyone under 18 for that time period. Now, when the negative results from Elias's test came back several weeks later, the case was dismissed. The child case was dismissed. It also accuses the Fort Collins Police Department of fomenting a culture of competing for DUI arrests. So Fort Collins and Loveland are competing. Now, there's a couple more paragraphs that go down, but that's pretty much the gist of it. That's your police department, guys. See, and you guys think, I've heard people say, we are free in America. No, you're not. You're only as free as law enforcement allows you to be. If a cop doesn't want you to be free, if maybe you cut him off at an intersection or something, and now he's in his patrol car and he remembers your face and he goes, that's the son of a bitch. He's going to get you. Or maybe your kid beat his kid up at a softball game and now he's going to get you, man. I'm coming for you. They can do whatever they want because that pin thing they have on their chest gives them full, complete power over you. One thing you can do, though, file police complaints when a cop messes up. And coming in March of this next year, 2024, I'm going to tell you why you file complaints. And I'm also going to give you some updates on some things that happened to me. March, that's right. So stay tuned.